I guess the next major tournament for California would be in August, which would be the Santa Cruz tournament.
And last and not least is my wife over here. She was close this year in singles. She made it in doubles. And I know what she's been doing to get ready for these tournaments for the last 4 years. She started from scratch, and we've been playing and practicing for a long time. And she kept saying, you know, when I started, you said I was going to win a national championship.
Handball came a little bit easier to me because I'm involved in other athletics. I run outside of handball to try to stay in shape, but mainly my handball comes from just getting in the court and practicing a lot.
Well, I've had the pleasure of knowing these people for a long time, and we start a lot of women off playing this game around the country. If you're willing to do what these people do and pay the price, it is the sport for women.
Hi again, handball fans. This is Carl Porter once again with Fred Lewis here at the Tucson Athletic Club, and we're ready for the National Championship Singles Finals of these 35th Annual United States Handball Association Four-Wall Championships. Once again, we have the incomparable Naty Alvarado in the final. This is his 9th National Singles Final. He's won 6. He was runner-up twice. He'll be going for his 7th championship. Right now, he's tied with Fred Lewis and Jimmy Jacobs, each of whom have won 6 National USHA championships. His opponent, Vern Roberts Jr., is making his first appearance in the National Singles Final. Vern's a former National Collegiate and National Amateur Championship winner, and he's now going for his first Open Championship.
This should be a great match, Carl. There's a skip ball, point, 1 serving 0. Vern has probably had his finest year as a pro handball player. He's been runner-up twice this year, and he's also won 1 pro match. In fact, he won the last pro match in Chicago, beating Naty in one of the most exciting pro singles finals I've ever witnessed.
I don't think there's any question that Vern has, here at the age of, I think, 30, has quote, come of age, unquote, at the top echelon of handball, in that he has had the overall great year, but particularly a month ago, that big win in Chicago over Naty, which showed him he can win.
Well, Vern's always had the ability, and it's just the last couple of years he's developed the hunger, the desire, and finally this year, I believe, the killer instinct to take him to the top.
I was going to say that if Vern has had any real criticism in the past, it's probably been an inability to maintain intensity for long periods of time. He's played great games, he's played great matches, but I think there's been some question in past years, in his younger years, about him maybe playing great and then having a little lapse or a little concentration lapse, and it seems this year that he's pretty much overcome that.
That's absolutely right. 0 serving 2. I think what we need to look for in this match, of course, is number 1, how well Vern can handle Naty's serve, which really is the key anytime you play Alvarado, because if you're not making good defensive returns off of Naty's serve, it's going to end up being a very, very quick match. I think right now we've got a classic matchup here. You've got Alvarado, who's undoubtedly the greatest offensive player of all time, against Roberts, who has very good offensive capabilities, but who I believe right now is the best defensive player in handball, and maybe one of the best defensive players of all time. So it should be quite interesting to see how well Vern can handle Naty's offensive machinery, and whether or not he can apply enough offensive pressure himself, to sustain 3 matches, 3 games.
It is interesting, your analysis of their abilities, because I think that when Naty first came into the pro handball or the national championship level of play, he was all offense with very little defense, and he would win, but he would also lose because of the fact he had no defense, and he had to develop defense to back up his great offensive game. Vern, in turn, is an incredible defensive player, scrambler, can do almost anything with either hand, and he is, and again, in addition to the consistency, I think he's developed more of an offensive game in this last year to push him right up here in the top two.
Well, that's right. I think, you know, the one area where he's really improved is that he's now taking advantage of the offensive opportunities that he's getting, and there have been quite a few. I think in the past, you know, he's been content just to keep pushing the ball around, punishing his opponent. And, you know, you can do that against most players, but when you play somebody like Alvarado, you've got to end the volley the first opportunity you get, because you know that Naty is not going to pass up the opportunity when he gets it. And so, you know, there's a lot of pressure there to end rallies, and in that last tournament in Chicago, you know, Vern was almost 100%. Every time he got a set up in the front court, whether it was left-handed or right-handed, he put the ball away.
There was a left-hander right there.
Perfect example. You know, Vern can end the volley also from so many different positions because he's got a great left hand. He can kill the ball off the back wall sidearm, and when you give him a shot up front, he's got that tremendous fist shot, and there's an ace. That's something you don't see too often from Vern.
You know, we saw that yesterday in the doubles finals. Naty and Vern, who are the closest of friends and are doubles partners, won their 4th national doubles championship yesterday. And at the end of that match, when they needed it, Vern buried 2 serves down that right wall.
Carl, Naty looks nervous at the beginning of this
doesn't he?
first game. He's made quite a few errors, completely took his eye off that ball. And, you know, even though Naty, who could possibly be the greatest player of all time, there's a lot of pressure on him going into this match.
Well, I know that he wants a 7th championship to surpass the record that he shares with you and Jimmy Jacobs. I know that he wants that badly. I know that he's had a bad arm this year that kept him out of one tournament and perhaps contributed to him losing in a couple of other tournaments that he's coming back from, and the arm seems to be fine now. Dr. Aaronen, John Aaronen, who is our USHA medical advisor, has been pampering that arm along for him all through the season. But I think Naty's had a history of nervousness. In fact, I remember in Miami back about 6 years ago or so when he was going into the final, I think against you, Freddie, that Naty had to go into the men's room and bomb it before the match, and that apparently is not an unusual thing for him to do.
No, I think that what that does is it you know, relieves a lot of tension for him. Vern's gotten off to a good start right now, and he seems to be trying to take control of this first game. He's doing a good job of it. There's a setup that Naty let get away, but he hit a pass down the right wall that was a little bit too tough to handle. I think Vern thought it was going to come around the back wall, and he set up for it that way. Score is 3-7. Very early in the first game. Reverse into the wall. Inner ball.
This is not this quick start by Vern is not an unusual pattern with these two. And then in the national semifinals, I believe, last year in Baltimore, Vern had a 19-4 lead on Naty, and Naty came back and won the first game. And then, what was it, a month ago, as we mentioned in Chicago, when Vern beat Naty, Vern beat him very decisively the first game.
I think,
or was it the second? He had a big lead.
I think he beat him decisively the second game. He beat him about 21-2 or 3 the second game. The first game, he lost 21-20. Naty just hit a series of great shots at the end of the first game when he was down about 18-20. And then I think he put him away pretty good in the tiebreaker. 4 serving 7. And there's Naty serving Vern's right hand, which I think is the intelligent thing to do, because Vern's return of serve left-handed is so spectacular. If he can get set, he can either punch kill the ball back down the left wall or just automatically pop it up to the ceiling. And I think Naty's best serve is to the right side, so he's going to go to the right, I think 75–80% of the time. Whoops. Naty just missed getting to that shot. He passed up about 2 or 3 opportunities to end the rally that time, just kept driving the ball and keeping it in play, and eventually Vern got lucky with a back wall shot that caught the side wall and died. Nice pass shot, side out. Okay, we're at 5 serving 7. Skip ball. Vern's asking Naty if the ball hit him on the way in.
And Naty's saying that what clipped
Ball
his
did hit
foot.
me.
Yeah, he thinks it was would have been in the floor then.
He's saying, Naty's saying the ball hit his shoe after it hit the floor.
Well, I think he's indicating that he thinks the trajectory was down into the floor, but I think Vern took that ball from very, very close to the floor. So it conceivably, I can see Vern's point. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to make a tough decision if you're the referee.
Vern's not arguing it, so I think he feels like he didn't hit it real well anyway. 6 serving 7. Tough serve. I think he had Vern going looking to the right, and he served it behind his back down the left with a nice reverse that just hugged the glass, and Vern found it pretty hard to pick it up. We're tied at 7 apiece. Another reverse. Great dive. Got him out of position. Pass to the right. 8 serving 7. Looks like Naty's loosened up a little bit.
When Naty gets in a sequence like that, gets the good serve, the weak return, gets the other player out of position on the floor, he's almost like a craftsman baseball pitcher, just working on a hitter.
9 serving 7. Vern's got to get him out. Can't allow Naty to get that momentum. He's like a roller coaster that's just running berserk. Great shot by Naty. I think Vern mishit that ball. It looked like he was trying to hit a fist pass down the right side and didn't get around on it too well. We're at 10 serving 7. Patented Vern, fist ball to the ceiling. Perfect way to return that serve.
That was a great left hand. These two players, I would suspect, are the two most ambidextrous players in the game today. Don't you think, Fred?
Well, certainly Naty is. Naty along with Dennis Hoflander, of course.
Right.
Naty just skipping that ball in. That's a mental mistake right there. He probably took his eye off of it.
Well, I know Vern. I've always been intrigued by the fact that Vern writes left-handed, plays racquetball left-handed. He throws a baseball right-handed. Is predominantly right-handed, at least as far as power is concerned in handball. And he's told me that because he grew up playing with a right-handed baseball glove, he started throwing right-handed when he was younger, and he considers himself to be, on the one hand, left-handed in terms of fine use of his left hand, but right-armed in terms of strength and throwing ability.
Well, the one reason why Vern is so effective hitting the ball left-handed is the movement. You know, movement really is the key. There are a lot of players in a warm-up who can stand there, you know, hit the ball very, very hard with their opposite hand. But as soon as they get into the game, into the rallies, you know, and they've got to take 4 or 5 steps to get in position, they're not the same. They end up clubbing the ball, hitting the ball off balance. And Vern's movement is absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. He turns his body sideways, and when he goes to hit the ball, he steps into the ball with his lead foot instead of hitting off his back foot. And that's why he's able to generate the power and the control and accuracy that he does, is because of his body position and his feet. I think today, of the top players, you've got Naty, Dennis, and Vern, who probably, you know, hit the ball best with their opposite hands. And I think right behind them you've got Jaime Paredes, certainly, who can really level off. Who's got one of the best left-handed fly kills in the game today. You know, killing the ball on the fly is tough enough, but doing it with your opposite hand is something else again.
Of course, a lot of the younger players now, Pancho Monreal and John Kindler, are coming along with outstanding offhands.
Oh, absolutely. You know, John, I don't think there's anybody in the game today who hits the ball as hard with his opposite hand as John does. You know, he's a tremendous threat every time he can get set to hit the ball. I think one of the reasons why Pancho improved so much this year is that you know, he's gotten tremendous offense with his left hand. He was always a pretty good defensive player with the left hand, but this year he's really come around with that left hand power and you know, kills and passes with his opposite hand. Boy, did he level that one off.
That's tough. I'd like to see a picture of the point of contact on that. It had to be just inches off the floor, and that ball never got more than inches off the floor.
Good serve. A little nonchalant on that fly kill. Oops. Vern just missing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 11 serving 10. Halfway through the first game.
Nice shot.
And Vern loves the right-hand corner. He's deadly in that corner. We're at 10 serving 11. Naty running him good this volley.
I love to watch Vern chasing the ball around like that. He's so intense and follows it.
I think Vern was looking for a pass down the right. Naty drove it right at him, and he had some stuff on it.
A little juice on it.
Just hooked back into his volley. Very tough ball to retrieve.
Again, it reminds me so much of Jimmy Jacobs, and during the volleys, Jimmy with both hands would hook the ball wickedly either direction, and Naty does that so much that he jams and fools people like that.
If you've ever played him, you'd feel lots and lots of pressure. Vern looking for a screen on that serve. He didn't pick it up real well. There's a point. It's now 12, serving 10. Back down the right side. That's one shot that you must have against Naty, because when he goes to the right, he's looking for you to come back to the left side, and if you try to pass him and you're a little bit short, he's just going to pick the ball off and drop it in the corner. You got to keep him honest and go down the right wall every once in a while to draw him into the center of the court and keep him from picking off the pass shot down the left.
You know, with the average handball player, average pretty good handball player, it's always safe to drive the ball back to the other player's reputed offhand. But when you're at this level with players such as these two, you can't afford even the slightest error coming back to the left.
That was a great deep court kill shot by Vern in the right corner, flat as a pancake. 11 serving 12. And Vern had a little juice on that pass shot. Naty was looking for the ball to break into the wall, and it took off.
Yeah, straightened it out and slid down.
We're tied at 12. And the ref calls bad bounce off the glass. Vern's arguing, saying that he had some spin on it. Vern says no.
I sympathize with Vern. We'll see how this call goes. I sympathize with him. I think there's a tendency for players too often to look for a bad bounce coming out of the glass. It does happen sometimes if it hits the door frame or possibly a seam. But I think that something that's overlooked oftentimes is how much English there is in the ball, how much spin there is in the ball, which makes it either run down the wall or dig and bite out.
Well, it looks like the linesmen have overruled the referee, and yes, indeed, it was a point. Naty arguing to no avail. You know, we're here in Tucson, Arizona, where we've just had record-breaking temperatures. It's probably 108 degrees outside right now, and probably even hotter in the building. You know, we've got close to 1,000 people in the stands.
Yeah, we, in fact, during this week, on one day during the week, early in the week, it hit 111, and been setting temperature records for this time of year, all year. But actually, these two players, I think, are probably kind of happy to be there in the glass exhibition court because it's probably one of the cooler places in the building.
Well, that's absolutely right. I played Vern there a couple days ago, and I never wanted to get out of the court during a timeout. I just poked my head outside, you know, drank a couple of cups of Gatorade, you know, grabbed my gloves out of the bag during a timeout and jumped back in the court because it had to be 20 degrees cooler. You know, this court, you know, is completely enclosed. It's got glass from floor to ceiling, and you know, the air conditioning just stays in there all the time. It doesn't have a chance to escape, so it's very comfortable.
But you know, being completely enclosed, you don't pick up nearly the crowd noise. You hear a little bit in there, but you don't pick up the sounds, the individual yells and things. Do you like or dislike being kind of buffered from the crowd around you on a court like this?
Well, I think I kind of like to hear the crowd. I think, you know, that's part of it. That you know, it's part of the game. It's part of the excitement. It's what this game is all about. You know, the crowd, the players. You know, we're all one. We're all in this together, so to speak. When you're enclosed like that, sometimes it's a little frustrating communicating with the referee.
Yeah, that's real tough.
There was a Hinter ball. The ball cracked out on the sidewall, but Vern was right behind Naty that time, and he probably could have gotten under it. Shooting that right corner again.
Yeah, there it is.
Naty
Right down
thought he
the
was
right.
going to pass, and Vern shot the corner. 14 serving 12. It's a Hinter.
We're getting to that point now that the sparring's over. We're into the, you know, 2/3 of the way into this first game now, and they're both oiled up and loose. And this is where I think the real momentum in this match is going to start taking some kind of shape.
Oops. Good call, ref. Little late, but correct nevertheless. Vern was definitely screened on that shot. It's 14 serving 12. There's the fist. Ooh, he
Ouch.
skipped it.
Ouch. That's why you tell most young handball players not to use that fist like that. Vern's the real exception to the rule because he has such a high percentage of success. But most players are going to make a lot of those kinds of errors trying to shoot with a fist.
And there's Vern killing it in the left-hand corner, sidewall, front wall, off the back wall with his left hand.
The beautiful, beautiful left-handed stroke you were talking about earlier.
Real sweet. Tough shot. Ooh, Naty picks it out. Whoops. Reversed him down the wall.
Slid it down the wall.
Vern's looking for a bad bounce
Yeah.
off the door.
Yeah, but I think that, again, I think that was the English. I think that reverse spin that Naty just straightened it out and slid it.
Yeah, Naty's not getting in real good position to level off and roll the ball out, so he's compensating for it by putting a lot of juice on the ball, hitting reverses and naturals. There's a Hinter. Well, Naty's going good. He's at full extension with his arm, and if you've noticed, you know, he's got his arm tucked in a little closer to his body, and so he can't get the good power on it that he wants. So there's a backhand.
Great backhanded retrieve.
Vern
Save.
sets him up into the corner. Look at this shot. It falls in.
Great.
Vern dives.
Great rally
get.
on this one.
He passes him. A lot of punishment here.
It was a setup.
Oh, and he skipped it in.
That was one where tenacity won out.
That was a very important point right there. Very important point. Vern's going to take a timeout at this point. Good call by Vern. He's got a 3-point lead. He needs 4 more points to win this first game. And the pressure is on Naty right now. What's he going to do,
You can
folks?
see it. You can see it in Naty's face too. You're never going to see him any more serious, I don't think, than he is right now. Might give some credit to the referee here, Freddie. Mike Gardner from St. Joe, Kansas City area is refereeing the match, and he's done several of these key matches here at the end of the tournament because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the favorite referees of the top-ranked players in general, isn't he?
No, Mike's a real good referee. He's aggressive. He's alert. He's very colorful. The audience likes the way he calls games. So I think, you know, it was a good choice to have Mike referee this championship final. Well, here we go. It's 17-14. Vern needs 4. Down the right. It's a shot he wanted. Naty's right there. Ooh, and he skipped it. He missed the one before. He missed the good setup. The shot before, didn't really miss it, but didn't roll it out, and so he pressed on that particular shot trying to make up for it, and he skipped it in. We're at 14-17. There's the fist. There's the setup. Oops. Avoidable hinder call by the ref on Naty. I think that was a good call.
I think you're right, Freddie. I think it was a good call, and the players are accepting it. There's no complaint. Well, maybe there is. Maybe Naty thinks it was just a hinder, but Naty was trying to get into position. Naty was trying to get back into position rather than trying to give Vern his shot.
Well, Naty's going to argue his point now.
Yeah, you know, Freddie, it's interesting to me because players in the heat of battle begin to think that scrambling for the best position on the court, that they have a right to do that. And of course, Pete Tyson, our National Rules and Referees chairman, you know, is many times has emphasized that you've got a responsibility to get out of the other guy's way.
Absolutely. 14 serving 12.
Big skip. Vern likes that. Vern says his thanks for that one.
It's 15 serving 12. Oh, he missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, he had the chance.
Fly kill for Naty.
There it goes. That's Naty's classic fly, sidewall, front wall.
Vern's disgusted with himself. He knows he just blew a big opportunity. He could have been 4 points up. They're 12 serving 15. Great return to serve.
There it is with the other hand, Freddie. First the sidewall, front wall with the right hand, then sidewall, front wall with the left hand.
I think Vern made a mistake by trying to go for that fist kill when he was a little bit off balance, and you can't do that with Naty because you make one little mistake and he buries you. There's a hinder. We're 13 serving 15. And Vern comes back with a fist kill. Great return of service. 15 serving 13. Oops. I think Vern's feet got tangled up beneath him that time.
Vern looks a little disgusted with himself. He's had 3 or 4 recent points here. He's had some little lapses or oversights and looks just a little frustrated at this point.
Right corner. There it is.
That's the shot.
He set that one up beautifully. Okay. We're 15 serving 13. Reversed him. Back down Down the wall. Ooh. It was a nice drive by Vern. His drive caught the crack deep in the court and just, you know, came around the back wall. It was a tough shot for Naty to try and shoot. 16, serving 13. One serve. Oh, 38-foot kill shot by Naty Alvarado.
That's just all arm. That's like Nolan Ryan coming over with his high hard one.
13, serving 16. Well, Naty tried to pick that ball off with his left hand and just dink it in the corner and came up a little short.
We haven't seen too many successful fly shots out of that glass.
No, it's very tough to pick the ball out of that glass. Good retrieve. Set up. Ooh! Boy, that's one he'd like to have back again.
It's one of those, it seems like you almost have too much time to think about before you hit it.
Really. 13-16. Somebody's going to take charge here pretty soon. They've been going round and round for the last couple of volleys. There it is. Good retrieve. And Naty skips it in. Like he got a little lazy on that. He had a little bit too much time again to set up and didn't really get his body into it.
Well, it looks, you know, both of them have skipped some balls here in these last few rallies. It looks like they both know they're at the breaking point in the game, and they're both almost trying to be too fine and make the super big play. There was a great twist.
Yeah, it's almost suicide to bring the ball down like that to Vern's his left-handed fist shot. 17-13. Fly shot. That's one he really leaned into that time.
Great shot. It'd be wonderful to have a picture of that when he was right down there. Again, he took the ball just inches off the floor and just leveled it right across the side wall into the front wall, about half an inch off the floor.
13 serving 17.
Looks like we're going to have a glove change here? Or?
No, I think they broke the ball.
Oh, you're right. And bringing a new ball into a game like that, when you break a ball and it's, you know, it's worn down and maybe lost a little bit of its zip, if you get a brand new ball in that happens to be hot, can that make a difference in the timing?
Oh, absolutely, especially now with Alvarado serving and being down. Should be interesting to see what happens now in these first few serves. He can really take over a match at this point. But
nice save.
Goes for the pass. Again.
There's the big one for Naty.
Great save.
Great. Get some digs here. Taking turns giving each other the setup, and then
Handball.
Tough rally.
And again, Vern had 3 opportunities to end the volley that time, but it's tough. It's very tough. He could have shot the right corner.
Right. And Naty had a couple opportunities in that rally. I mean, they were kind of like two fighters taking turns sticking their chin out to the other and saying, take your best shot at me.
Still 13, serving 17. Backhand.
That's a tremendous save.
And Vern wants a hinder.
Yeah, I think he should have had one earlier. That's tough. Mike Gardner is up in a crow's nest, which is at the upper right hand of the back wall, and it's tough to see a screen over on the left side of the court.
I agree. That's the toughest call for the referee to make on this court. 14-17.
Big reverse serve.
Back wall. Pass. Oh.
There it is. Buried it in the glass.
Seventeen, 14. Take charge, Vern. Fooled him. Set up. Yeah.
Buried it.
Didn't fool around with that one, Carl.
That's the one they call the mouse. It just comes scurrying across the floor.
Timeout, Alvarado. That was a good timeout for Naty. Vern looked like he had some momentum going.
You could see Vern's adrenaline. You could see Vern's adrenaline when Naty called the timeout and Vern threw that ball down. You could see that Vern was pumped up right then. We've got a glove change, shirt change.
I think we're at that critical point in this game, Carl. Vern's pumped up. Naty knows he's got to stop him. Let's see if he can elevate his game to yet another higher level.
He had Naty leaning a little left on that serve again.
Yeah, he's done it twice now. He's gone to the lob serve. Set up, goes for the pass, came up short, and Naty rolls it out.
Naty makes a falling away, great left hand, falling away and out of the glass. That's tough.
Boy, is that tough. That should have been a point for Vern. It should be 19 serving 14. Instead, it's 14 serving 18.
Backhand again.
Came up short. Pass again.
Saw that power then. That ball had stuff on it. It was zipping.
Naty made a great save there to keep him in the rally and ended up winning the point. So 15 serving 18. Oops. Vern went for the fist kill and missed it badly that time.
You know, this looks like this really looks like vintage Alvarado right here. He's getting the strong serves, getting the mediocre returns, even though Vern's got one of the best returns in the game. Naty's serve is tying him up, and then Naty's just jumping all over those returns.
Vern's got to get pumped again. He's got to get him out right now. There's a cracked serve for an ace.
That Alvarado serve is suddenly making itself felt. This could be a real turning point right here.
Well, he's just scored 3 in a row. It's 17 serving 18. Almost cracked that one out.
Vern's tense. He sees what's happening. He knows Naty's. You can see Naty getting in his groove. You can see Naty starting to flow. And he wants to do something to break that rhythm.
17-18. Tough serve. Reversed him. The ball slid down the glass. Vern wasn't able to make solid contact with his fist. We're tied at 18. Vern going back to the strength. On his knees. Great retrieve. Oh,
incredible shot. Alvarado's he's hitting on all cylinders right now. This is Naty Alvarado at his best. This is the way he's devastating. Unless Vern can do something here suddenly to somehow break up that continuity, because right now Naty's just clicking.
19 serving 18. That was a gutsy shot for him to go for, because Vern was right up front. If he'd have missed it just a little bit, Vern would have re-killed it. Great retrieve. He's on top of it again. There's a shot, and Vern skips it.
Oh, almost.
Took the ball just a little bit behind him that time. 20 serving 18. I think Vern should have called a timeout 2 points ago, but let's see what happens here. Another setup. A little short. Great retrieve.
Drove him back. Tremendous rally. Tremendous rally. That was a great game, Freddie. That's national championship handball. I think that's what we came to see here today.
Well, once again, Naty Alvarado demonstrates the capabilities that he's had throughout the years. A couple years ago, I nicknamed him Naty Houdini because he just seemed like he could get out of just about, any problem that he was forced into. He could escape from just about anything, and he's done it again.
Well, he's got that firepower. I think he showed that right there at the end in that run of that last 5 or 6 points, that he's got the firepower that at any moment he can just bust loose and surge, get that serve going, and it seems to give him an added confidence. Instead of skipping a few kill shots here and there, once he gets the serve rolling, it's like he can do no wrong. And instead of skipping a kill shot, he'll just bury the ball.
Well, let's see what Vern can do here in the second game. I know he's discouraged. He let that first game get away. But he's been here before. Same thing happened in Chicago, and he came back and won the second game and eventually won the match. And so the key here again is to stay with it, not let Naty get too far out in front, and hope that he can get some momentum back. And it looks like Naty is continuing with the momentum. Vern's kill shot came up a little bit that time, and Naty jumped on it, and he's forcing Vern to make some very tough retrieves, which are going to be very telling down the stretch. You get that set up, you've got to put the ball away. You cannot continue to rally.
Well, you certainly can't with Alvarado, because, as you said before, you know that ultimately he will put it away. So you got to beat him to it.
Look at Vern go.
Drove him down that
And he
path.
wants a bad bounce, and I agree.
That looked like it might have been.
That took a wicked bounce. The linesmen agree with the referee. It's a tough break for Vern. I think he could have had that shot. 2 serving 0. Right corner. Oh. I don't think he hit that the way he wanted to, but he caught the crack.
Got the crack off the side. Got that little bonus crotch off the sidewall.
Zero serving 2. Whoops. Right corner kill by Vern. Naty just missed getting to.
Well, Vern started off, looked like he was in trouble his first couple of points. Now he's gotten back in here. Maybe there's a nice serve.
Tough serve. Yeah, Vern's a fighter. He's not going to give up without a fight. He's been here before. 2 serving 2. There's the fist. Caught the wall. Yes.
Oh, great shot. That's that right corner, right down the right wall. You're right. I'd never really noticed that much, Freddie, but he is almost automatic when he goes for that shot.
Yeah, that's his favorite. That and the left corner kill with the fist. His 2 biggest weapons. Serve, another good serve. Hinder. No.
I think he was cut off, but I think Mike thought the ball was flat and there wasn't a play on it.
2 serving 3. That was a great sequence there by Naty. Vern's return of serve hit the front wall and the ceiling and kind of slowed down, and Naty just backpedaled, got behind the ball, took his 2 or 3 steps, and then just creamed it the way you're supposed to.
And he did it right in front of Vern. He didn't try to drive him back or anything. It looks to me like Naty's gotten just that little extra degree of super confidence with his run at the end of the first game, and it's kind of like he's willing at this point to shoot it right in Vern's face.
3 serving 3. Good serve. Oh, beautiful shot.
That's the one.
I think he hit that one open-handed.
Did he? Well, I thought he fisted it. I thought he punched it.
4 serving 3. Naty going for the kill. Yes.
Yeah, got it. One of the deceptive things about Vern, to me, I think Vern has one of the finest open left hands in the game, and he punches a lot of those balls, and I suppose part of that is that you can get that fist drive off in a very short, quick time. You don't need to take a full backswing to do it.
Well, not only that, but you can hit the ball closer to your body that way. You don't have to extend like you do on a sidearm shot. Four serving 4. Drive into the glass.
Not
Vern
quite
misses. That was fatigue. That was a little mental letdown there by Vern. I think he felt like the ball was going to come out further than it did, and he ended up reaching back for it. 5 serving 4. Whoops. Naty's timing was a little bit off on that shot. He started to move a little bit too soon before the ball had a chance to reach the center of his body.
Well, this is the end of a long week, a long 8 days for all these players. And these two guys have gone all the way to the finals in both doubles, which they won yesterday together, and the singles here today. I'm sure there's some fatigue setting in. Any time that they have a little bit of a mental lapse, that fatigue's going to show.
Hinder.
That was a great example of what Vern can do with that fist, because you don't know what way he's going. He can line
right.
up to the left, and he can go either left or right or sidewall.
It's great when you've got 2 or 3 options on any particular situation. Into the back wall, sidewall front.
He flies it perfectly. Vern knew where it was going, couldn't get there. It's beautiful to see Naty in those fly shots where he's not tentatively taking the ball in the air and pushing it. He's winding up and taking the full swing just as though he was a baseball pitcher and had the ball in his hand to begin with.
Naty cleaning his contact lenses there. The perspiration gets down in there and kind of blurs his vision. Every once in a while he's got to do some cleanup work. Yeah, Naty may be the greatest fly shooter this game has ever seen. He just approaches it with so much confidence because it's the toughest offensive shot to make in this game. The timing's just got to be perfect, and he seems to have really mastered the technique better than anyone.
That's a great exchange in there. They're right on top of each other and
in the corner.
Just trading punches back and forth, and Naty just buries it.
Just got done speaking about that, and there's a perfect example.
That's it.
Six serving 4. Wicked reverse.
Big juice.
Reverse.
Oh, juice on that one too.
Well, you could just see him coming over the top of that ball.
Put the big right-handed reverse in the serve that Vern had to make a sensational retrieve on, and then he comes back with a left-handed reverse off the volley and scores the point.
In the corner. Reverse.
Great volleys again. Great rally, and there's another great left hand. Another great, right now, they're playing great handball. I think, is Vern complaining a little bit about how close things were?
I think he wanted to hinder on a couple of those exchanges up in the front court.
Because they really are. They're right over each other's shoulder in a lot of these plays. It looks right now we're seeing really great handball, but it's usually culminating in Naty being the one who finally puts the ball away.
Well, Vern's doing a great job because Naty really right now is in control. He's driving the ball very well, and you know Vern's making great retrieves. Very few people, you know, could even get a lot of those shots back, and you know he's doing a great job of staying in. And that right there was a key play.
It was a big one for Vern.
He took the chance and shot the ball off the return of serve, and you know after a timeout like that, it's great to be able to regain the serve without giving up a point. 4 serving 8. Going to go to the lob. You don't see that too often in the pros. Vern's one of the few players who'll use the lob. He's got great control.
There it is. That's his shot.
5 serving 8. Lobs again.
Go right back to it on his first serve now. See if he get another.
Well, I think he's a little
Set up.
fatigued at this point, and the lob serve, you know, takes very little energy. He's been doing a lot of running and retrieving like that throughout this whole match. I think Vern's just going to try and stay with him, and you know, hopefully, you know, he'll be able to get up into the teens later on in the match and have something left down the end when it really counts. Oops. Great
Get
get.
that ball squirt around.
And there's the fist back
There
down
it
the
is.
right
Yeah.
side. Need a few more of those from Vern. Five serving 8. Whoops. Oh.
Got a little contact in there, and I think
No, I would question that call if I was Vern. I don't think he had the time that Mike thought he had to get out of his way. There's an ace.
big serve. That's the big serve.
That's the slider down the right side. 9 serving 5. There's another one. We got that one back. Vern cuts it off. Whoops.
Fell in.
Yeah, you can tell Vern's a little fatigued because he's fisting a lot of his right-handed shots that are really setups. Naty's hitting the ball that's coming off the right wall, and it's really a setup that Vern could level. But when you get a little bit tired and you don't move your feet, you have a tendency to go to the fist and just drive the ball instead of ending the volley. Like Naty did right there.
Beautiful.
And that's what Vern's got to do. When he gets that shot, he's got to level off.
Naty's feet were quick then. He had the quick feet. He got around, got in position, and just took his full stroke and buried it.
Okay, we're at 11 serving 5 right now, and this game's getting a little bit out of hand. Come on, Vern. Yes.
Beautiful.
He worked.
Reversed the roles that time.
Yeah, he worked them over good that time. You need to see some more of that.
I just pushed Naty from side to side and then made his shot.
5-11. Skip ball. That's a bonus right there.
Came back with the error.
6 serving 11. Vern back to the sidearm serve. Needs to pick up some points. Whoops.
He was a little slow in getting back than he did. Normally, I would expect him to have had that ball easily. Not easily, perhaps, but...
Well, he got in trouble because of the serve. Serve came off the side wall and Naty's right hand, and he just, hit a nice drive down the left side. And there's a cracked serve that rolls out. Nothing you can do with that.
It's got to be demoralizing playing Naty when you're struggling and fighting to stay in or get back in the game. And he's got that serve, and suddenly he gets 2 or 3 of those, and there's just absolutely nothing you can do about it.
12 serving 6. And there's another one. Deep crack. 13 serving 6. Vern's trying to hold on. Good drive.
Great shot. Great left hand.
Well, here we've got Naty with a 7-point lead. Things are going his way, and he's just loose as a goose right now.
He's just like a surfer on the crest of a 20-foot wave.
14 serving 6. Set up.
I was just going to say, I would think Vern may be thinking of a timeout here pretty quick. Try to do something to break that rhythm, break that momentum.
Vern's a little discouraged at this point, and I know he's going to take these 60 seconds to mull over the situation, and I think the main thing right now is he's got to get some adrenaline going.
Naty's out getting a little bit of our Gatorade from one of our sponsors of the Pro Tour. They're in there with Spalding shirts right now and playing with a Spalding ball. Get a little plug in for our sponsors.
Come on, Vern. Let's get pumped. He looks very tired, Carl. Very tired.
Well, he should be, don't you think, at this point of the week? One thing a lot of people don't realize, in addition to playing both doubles and singles as editor of Handball magazine and a USHA official, Vern has just been working his behind off this entire week. So he's really been kind of chasing himself in circles.
Short first serve. 15 serving 6. Naty backing up. Yes.
Nice left hand. That's that open left hand. Beautiful.
Yes, he's done that 2 or 3 times this match, and I guess he kind of likes that shot. Okay, 6:15. We need a run here. Got to lean into the serve and get a weak return. Passes him. There it is. Ooh. Yeah, you can tell he's tired. Missed his right corner kill, and then he came back with a fist shot that set up straight off the back wall.
Yeah, when you get in the frustrating circumstance that Vern's in right now, you're going to feel every ounce of fatigue. And Naty, on the other hand, who certainly has reason to be physically tired at the end of this tournament after also playing doubles and singles himself, right now he's got his adrenaline pumping, and you can tell he's smelling blood.
Drive. Back down the wall.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's hustling now.
Yeah, Naty's on his toes, and Naty's, he's poised for the kill.
.16 serving 6. Oh, he's right there. Right there.
That's picture perfect handball.
Well, he guessed right. You know, Vern could have passed down the left, down the right, and Naty kind of held his ground, and Vern went right back at him. 17 serving 6. Yes.
Naty can do no wrong right now.
No, and that was a tough shot. That was a ceiling ball that just dropped straight down off the back wall, and Naty got back deep for it, got himself in perfect position, leveled off and rolled it out. That's textbook handball.
A little crowded there, got a hinder call. Naty doesn't mind the hinder as long as he can keep serving.
18 serving 6. Ooh.
I guess nobody can be quite perfect.
Well, with an 18-6 lead, I don't think you really have to be at this point. In the corner.
But some people are pretty close to perfect at times. He really has the hot hand now. He's totally relaxed. I know you've mentioned before, Freddie, that you never can afford to let Naty really relax in the court because he's just awesome.
It was a great serve.
And that's
Slid
where he
right
is
down
right
the
now.
wall. 19 serving 6. Right there.
Beautiful. Great
Read
shot.
him again.
Great shot.
It's a great read by Naty.
Of course, you'd expect these players to pretty well read each other. They've played so often. They've played together doubles so often. And when you've been on the court against each other or with each other both as often as they have, you know each other inside out, but yet there seems to be even a sixth sense there sometimes.
Well, you know, Naty is very intelligent, and you know, he knows Vern is tired, and he's going to try and end the volley as soon as he can, and so he gave up the pass shot that time and looked for Vern to kill the ball in front of him, and that's exactly what he tried. Match point. And there it is.
There it is. Naty's a little happy. Look at here. Look at here.
Well, that's his patented leap into the right-hand corner that he's done every single time.
And he's holding up 7 fingers.
He's won his 7th national title. He's now the all-time USHA National Open Singles Champion. Nobody in the history of the USHA has ever accomplished this feat.
And he's done it in very convincing fashion again. He's come back from a season of injury and some real heartbreaking losses. Coming back from that injury, I know he came into this tournament, he lost 10 or 12 pounds in the last month before this tournament because he was really pointing for it. And I think that he's achieved what he was looking for, and he's back where he belongs. He's numero uno.
In Vern, one of the greatest matches we've ever had on the TAC courts, the 4th national championship. Naty, you've reaffirmed that you're number 1, numero uno. And Vern, this is your first trip to the finals. This is your first trip to the finals, the climax, your greatest year in handball. What do you think was the turning point, 3/4 of the way through that first game?
Well, I had a couple of shots, I think, at 17-13, and then at 18-14, I was still in there, and I had a couple of that I could have gone right corner, I could have gone for it, and I decided to pass because I thought I had him leaning, and he made some great, just unbelievable gets, great pass shots. They weren't perfect, but they were great. He got him back, and then I think that gave him confidence, you know, to get back in there and go for it. But it's been a good year. It's been a good season. I've had a couple of seconds in a first to last tournament, and I'm real happy with it. I still want that national title, but maybe next year. But once he gets rolling, that's why he's the best of all time, in my opinion.
Freddie Lewis, right after the match, I asked him, and he described Naty as a shark just waiting for the least let up on the other player's part, and then he just hits. Naty, you've once again reaffirmed your numero uno, but I know there's another number that's been on your mind all this week, and I suspect all this year, and that's the number 7. You and Fred Lewis and Jimmy Jacobs have been tied with the most USHA national championships in history. The 3 of you had 6, and you just got number 7. How do you feel about that, and how far do you expect to run that string?
Well, I feel real good, very proud of it. It's been in my mind the last 3 months, every day, and for the last year, it's been in my mind too. But there is another number that I don't want to be too greedy, but it's always been in my mind to win that title, which is the 10th. I know it's very hard to accomplish that, but I'll be trying for that.
I know what you're speaking of is Playtac, I believe, before the USHA won 9 national championships, AAU championships, and so you'd like to run the string all the way to 10, right?
That's been my goal ever since I knew about the records.
One other thing, Naty, I know that you lost a couple tournaments this year coming back from an elbow injury. Pancho Monreal, your own protege, won a tournament from you, and Vern won the last tournament and beat you. But it looked to me that you showed up for this tournament looking a little slimmer and trimmer than you have. Did you train extra hard?
Yes, for 3 months I did a lot of things. I only know what I did. But the reason I had to do all those things is because of my injury. I had to train real hard on my legs, especially because I cannot hit the ball out of balance. If I do that, then my arm doesn't respond like it used to. So I did a lot of training for that.
Well, congratulations, Naty. It was another great win. You now have more wins than anyone in USHA history, and there are many of us that suspect you're going to wind up with more wins than anybody